Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome back to the channel. I'm here to make a quick video, and I've been wanting to make this video for a while. And no, before any of you guys freak out, no, I do not have a light problem anymore. It's still early in the day, so I figured, why not? Instead of just wasting electricity, I will just sit here with the light through my window. At least you can see me. So today, I remember during one of my streams, I said I was going to talk about something that I wanted to talk about. And so I figured I'd do that now. Before I do my eventual thing today, because today, I'll be mourning the loss of my auntie. So, yeah. So I'm going to be posting this up before I leave. So today we're going to be talking about AEW having a Dr. Britt Baker DMD problem. Now the reason why I am making this video is because people have told me that AEW are ghosting Britt Baker because they will not talk about her and refuse to answer questions about her. Well, you see, there's a good reason to why they're doing that. Britt Baker, though I have not heard much about Britt, initially, but ever since getting into AEW, and also having words with a few friends that follow the company, I've definitely learned that Britt Baker is definitely more of a problem than I think fans are really letting on here. You see, Britt Baker has always been a real big problem, because remember the stories about her having issues with Thunder Rosa? Now yes, her and Thunder Rosa have shared the ring together, but that might have been before they had issues. But remember when Britt Baker had that long reign as AEW Women's Champion? I feel like that might have something to do with it, that she probably didn't want to drop her title to Thunder Rosa. But that's just my personal thinking. But there has been stories getting out that Britt Baker has had some bad things to say about Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa basically got upset, and the company believed Britt's stories about Thunder Rosa, and then Thunder Rosa kind of just disappeared from TV for a good while. So I feel like Thunder Rosa got the short end of the stick here, and I think everybody should apologize to Thunder Rosa, especially after what's transpired with Britt Baker. But that's not going to happen. It's probably never going to happen. But the point that I am making here, guys, is that it's insane to me that people have found ways to defend Britt Baker for anything. I also remember Britt Baker had a faction. She was with Jamie Hayter, and she was also with a girl named Rebel. And Rebel has not been seen on TV for God knows how long. I remember seeing her when Saraya debuted, and that was really about it. I don't know what happened between them. But clearly, issues definitely happened here. So, there's that. There's that issue as well. Rebel is now all of a sudden just not on TV anymore. One other big problem I have with Britt Baker is that she likes to cut the same promos all the damn time. She always likes to talk about how she's the first woman signed to AEW, and how she called Saraya, Mercedes, Athena, Tony Storm. She called all of these people outsiders who came from another company to try and make names for themselves in her home, as she called it. Now, some people may say, well, she's just playing a character. That's completely different. She's playing a character. But if you're playing a character, but the thing is, AEW do not use scripts. So this is something that I feel people should not be defending. I don't think AEW wrestlers, write scripts. I don't know if they write scripts backstage before their promos or anything. I kinda doubt it, because in AEW, it feels like they already know what they want to say, or they just say whatever they want to say and it comes out naturally. Like MJF, maybe. But all Britt does is constantly tell us how she's the first woman signed, and how anybody else who were not AEW originals, she just called them all outcasts and outsiders, trying to make names for themselves. I don't know. I don't know. I started watching AEW, not frequently, but a little bit when Saraya debuted and all that, and then I kind of got a glimpse of Britt Baker then. So, at first, I wasn't really the biggest fan of Britt Baker at first when I first saw her, but my opinion did start to change over time, because I thought maybe Britt Baker was a decent wrestler, and I thought, maybe she's not as bad as people say. Then, we get to AEW All In with Mercedes. And this whole thing with Mercedes really exposes Britt Baker. And the other thing that it exposes is that when Mercedes was still in WWE, Britt Baker, in many interviews, has gone on to say on record many, many times that one of her idols is Mercedes, and how she kind of gimmicks her character pretty much off of Mercedes. She uses Mercedes as an inspiration for her character, though calling herself a role model is more like Bayley and not Sasha, but whatever. But the thing is, Mercedes has always inspired a lot of women. She has. She's like, you can say whatever you want about Mercedes, but there's one thing you cannot deny is how many women's wrestlers Mercedes has inspired over the years. She's inspired generations of women's wrestlers. She has inspired generations and generations of women's wrestlers. So to me, I see this as nothing more. It felt like nothing more than a tactic ploy on Britt Baker, saying she wants a dream match with Mercedes. And the fact that a lot of people wanted to see these two feud, this Mercedes versus Britt Baker gives me the same vibes of Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. Because people always wanted to see Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair feud, and their feud wasn't very good, and their matches were not very good. So this felt like another Bianca Belair Alexa Bliss situation, where it's a match everyone wanted to see, the build-up was fine, but when it came to the action in the ring, it wasn't very good. But here's a big major difference between Bianca and Alexa Bliss. Did any of them sandbag their opponent while they were wrestling? The answer is no. The answer is no. They didn't. Neither of them were sandbagging each other while they were wrestling. The matches were not good, but Britt Baker went out of her way and completely sandbagged Mercedes during their match. And it's bad enough that Britt Baker, when she just came back from her injury, and what does she do? She gets suspended. She has a fight with MJF and his girlfriend, leading to her getting suspended. It's literally crazy to me that Mercedes would... It's crazy to me that Britt Baker would go out of her way to do such things. Like, not only she got suspended, but she also sandbags Mercedes. So, is she really the... So that's the thing with Britt Baker. She just came back from being gone for so long. We all felt bad for her. We all felt bad for her when she talked about her story, going through the injury she sustained. We all felt bad for her. We all sympathized with her. But then she goes ahead, gets suspended by having a fight with MJF and his girlfriend, and then she goes on to get, she goes on to pretty much sandbag Mercedes in their match. Even after crowing for years, Mercedes is someone she wants to wrestle. And people tell me AEW is ghosting Britt Baker. Well, in my opinion, Britt Baker deserves it. Especially considering how bad of a person she has been. Jamie Hayter was once a close friend of hers, and now Jamie Hayter wants nothing to do with her. So I feel Britt Baker is a problem in AEW. She really needs to be humbled. She really needs, Tony Khan has let her get away with so much. Just a slap on the wrist. He's given her too many slaps on the wrist. I think it's time that Tony Khan finally puts his foot down on Britt Baker and tells her that she is never going to get another championship match ever again, and she needs to spend maybe a year or so being a jobber and putting people over. Give back to your division. Give back to your division and start going on a massive losing streak. Because this woman needs to be humbled and she needs to be dealt with big time. But people will always say Mercedes has a massive ego. People have always said Mercedes has a massive ego. Mercedes is this. Mercedes is that. Well, everything that people say that people talk about with Mercedes, say she's got a big ego and all that stuff. Well, I've got some bad news for you. It's actually Britt Baker. Everything that these people say about Mercedes on the internet, Britt Baker is everything people say Mercedes is. And that's the cold hard truth. And I was willing to give Britt Baker the benefit of the doubt. I was willing to give her a chance. But I feel she is a massive problem in AEW. Either punish her, put her through a punishment where she has to put people over for maybe a year or so, never give her title matches, or just straight up fire her and let her go. Because you cannot have someone with a massive ego walking around in your backstage locker room, always making it about themselves. And I think that's the biggest problem with Britt Baker. She makes everything about herself. So, that is my opinion on the Britt Baker situation. No, yes, AEW is ghosting her, but in my opinion, Britt Baker deserves to be ghosted by the company because she has caused so much drama and so much chaos within the company that she deserves it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.